I think the angst that you see, the outrage that you see, stems from the fact that Mrs. Badal has very correctly highlighted that justice is not seen to be done, and hence there is an outrage as to whether the severity of the punishment needs to be increased. But I would like to also highlight that though yes, justice has to be swiftly done, that though yes, we would like to see the most severe of punishments to those who commit these ghastly acts, what Farhan has said tonight is also what can be constructively done to either prevent such crime or to ensure that the citizen is more and more engaged and heard on such issues. I had mooted an idea in the Parliament of India when I discussed the protection of children from sexual abuse in the year 2012, the need to have a central database with regards to sexual offenders, that when they go from one area to another, the police should have access to their migration from one area to another, so that if educational institutions nearby have to be informed of such people in the vicinity, then they can be. I would also like to highlight here, Farhan, I'm sure that in a part of a constructive dialogue and solution, it is also equally important for the citizen to come out and vote on the day of polling. We talk about a nation today where 65% of our voters in the forthcoming Lok Sabha election will be youngsters between the age of 18 to 24. But it's unfortunate that only 12% of them are registered as voters. So yes, there is a need to have a constructive dialogue. Yes, there is a need for judicial and police reforms. Yes, there is a need to ensure that there is political consensus when it comes to crime against women. But there is also a need to have a constructive engagement with the citizen, and that engagement begins when the citizen comes out to vote.
Yes, but also, Smriti,
so there's one thing that I can say tonight, that irrespective of who you are, whether you're a politician or a filmmaker or an anchor tonight on your show, I'm sure they will unitedly say that whatever can be constructively done should be done.
Yes. And
the issue is, will mere rhetoric suffice, or will we ask those pertinent questions with regards to implementation of the law?
And as I pass the baton on to Farhan and to Roshan before I close, your terrible host, your pathetic, terrible host will also request, Smriti, you must tell your political party colleagues.
Well, I'm sure that you understood the pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But there is no pun intended here. You must tell your political leaders, just because somebody is a powerful godman, don't say the person is a victim of a political conspiracy if they are accused of rape. Just don't, it cannot be allowed.
My political organization
you have to investigate it, because otherwise what happens is, Smriti,
my political leadership has categorically stated, Arnab, you know it, you've carried the news, is that let the law take its own course.
I'm just saying, I'm putting it in a broader perspective.
It is only the judiciary in this country which will pronounce
I am putting it in a broader perspective
with regards to a case which is put forth before us.
In the broader perspective, only so that nobody believes, however powerful they are, that they will get any political support if they have been charged with rape. That's all. Farhan, I think we are moving in a direction where this dialogue has begun. Now, my question to you and to Roshan is, how do we keep this dialogue going? Because I don't think the media should be reactive. I don't think we need to only pick up these issues when incidents happen. Right? I think the citizenry, everyone needs to put some pressures in the system, so it's an ongoing debate, ongoing pressure, not just on television channels, but across. So how do we do it? Farhan and Roshan, I want your suggestions, with Farhan first.
Sorry, Arnab, I think everyone, of course, has to pitch in and do their bit. You know, I mean, for me, I mean, whether as a filmmaker or just as a citizen, I do go engage with students in various cities with this Marj initiative that I have, where we speak to students and we're trying to just get them the same thing, just to think of boys and girls as equal, and that will hopefully start making a generational change. The big thing that we notice when we go to these places is a lot of them feeling that this is how it is, nothing is going to change, this is how society will stay, this is how people will think, this is how the police will be, this is how laws will remain, this is how the politics is. And that makes a citizen more and more insular. It makes them think only about themselves. And when you start thinking only about yourself, you really get unsympathetic towards what another person is going through, because you're so fearful for yourself, you're fearful for your immediate family, that it becomes very, very difficult. As far as the status quo that you were talking about, I completely agree that it cannot stay the same. But that the change should also come in just the conviction rate, the speed at which the judiciary works has to be increased. Because if we see current existing laws being applied a lot faster and them having some effect, you'll probably see some kind of change happening in itself before demanding something.
I think so.
That's probably
I think it's important. I think that's where I would like to say the media also carries the responsibility that we track not just when an incident happens, but we also track, you know, as a rape case, for example, goes through the judicial process, how quick or slow it is. Prasun, quickly.
One thing I just want to say is that, you know, the worst thing would be if women of Bombay get anyway discouraged to come out and work, and especially the professionals. You know, it is symbolically going to be very damaging.
No, it won't happen.
And we have to make sure that, you know, because I heard you know, these questions on various channels when, you know, journalists have been asked, are you discouraged, and some of them said yes. I think it's something which I think if women give up, I think this is never going to. I think women have to fight this. You know, and that's the most important.
I think women and professional women and young women are so resilient, not just in Mumbai. I know that this incident may shock them, but they certainly won't. You know, they won't be discouraged. I don't think. I just want one caller has been holding on for a long time. Roshan, you will have the last word on the program today, but I have Suraj from Noida calling in. Yes, Suraj.
Yes, thank you so much for having me online. And what I would like to say is that in the greater context, political parties do not seem to be looking at the larger interests of the country and the people. And there was a point raised by Harsimrat where she says that you can make rape a non-bailable offense. That's a very simple thing to do. And I think that would be the primary step before you get into something like judicial reform and police reform, etc. So the immediate steps should be what act as deterrents. And I'm sure that if you are going to make rape a non-bailable offense, it will be quite a deterrent. And one more thing I would like to say over here is that of all the panelists, I think
rape is a non-bailable offense.
No, rape, Suraj, rape is a non-bailable offense as far as my information goes. But I think your other point, that, you know, you need to look at the immediate steps first, is very well taken. Thank you, Suraj, for calling. Totally out of time. Roshan, the last word is to you tonight. Yes,
I would like to respond to what Prasun said about Mumbai City.
I just want to say that finger pointing and fist shaking is very easy when you're in a position of power or whatever. I think it's time to extend a hand. When Smriti speaks as a mother and as a common citizen, I completely agree with her. The minute the political speak comes on, I just feel that, oh, it's a different garb. It's not the person I know. My point is that really citizens need to get more active. Yes, we need to come out and vote, but really it has to be this two-way street. Quick judgments, you know, swifter convictions is really important, but then get those get the criminals out of your political system so we see a ray of hope. We will take the step when that first ray of hope happens. Otherwise, I think we just have to take that step ourselves. And I think we're now gearing up to do just that.
Yes, if I could only say, respond to what Prasun...
Totally short of time.
Yes. I could only respond to what Prasun said about the safety of women, and I hope it doesn't become... You know, I think Mumbai is a very resilient society, and time and again it has shown that whenever Mumbai has been hit by any catastrophe, it has bounced back to life in very fast time.
But Mr. MNC,
nonetheless, I would not say that we should take things lying and we should ignore these signals. I would feel that the debate, Arnab, has ultimately been a very fruitful debate, and the sanity returned, but this issue is so emotive that is bound to generate a lot of heat during the course of the discussion.
I'm glad that
at the end of it, I can say that it was a very, very wonderful debate, and a lot of good suggestions have come across.
Thank you.
I would like to have a word for the police force of Mumbai. I think the police force of Mumbai must think out of the box and come out with some systems whereby they provide a greater sense of safety.
I thank you.
They have a lot to think and a lot
I want to thank each one of you for participating. I know I've taken a lot of your time this evening from all our panelists, but I want to thank each one of you for coming and participating in that dialogue. And I just want to say that what we will do here at Times Now is that we will institute a series of news reports over the next few days and weeks, which don't just look at the cases of rape when they happen, but after they happen, what is the process they go through the courts? How difficult and painful is that process for the victims? And I hope that puts some highlight and some pressure. And I thank you all for joining me on this very important subject this evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to have you on the program.